Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson, Stephanie Phillips with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have Heidi Almase, Clark County District Court Judge, Family Division, Department X. But before we get to Judge Almase, Ms. Phillips.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and thank you to our sponsors. We have Dr. Ori Nagy. He's running for Congressional District 3. His website is nagyforcongress.com, and that's F-O-R, nagyforcongress.com. Jump on his website and see what his platform is all about. We also have Henderson's Mayor, Michelle Romero. Her website is votemichelleromero.com, votemichelleromero.com. Jump on her website and get in touch with her. We also have Cody K. Whipple. He is running for Congressional District 4. His website is codykforcongress.com, and that's the number 4, codykforcongress.com. Jump on his website. And don't forget to grab your copy of Steve's book, How to Navigate Nevada's Family Court System. You can get a copy on Amazon. It is $14.99. This is a self-help book. If you are a litigant and you do not have an attorney and you can't afford one, going through the family court system, you will want to get a copy of this book. This will help you navigate that system. Also, we have a merch store. It's vipimerch.com. vipimerch.com. We have all kinds of fun stuff on there for you to check out. And also, don't forget to grab your tickets to our Valentine's Ball. It is February 7th of 2026. And we have tickets on sale. We've been putting out a commercial and flyers and all kinds of stuff. So jump on those links and grab your early bird tickets and save yourself some money before the price goes up. Also, for my rant, I'll make this short. The governor of Oregon and the governor of Illinois, the mayor of Chicago and the mayor of Portland, my goodness, you guys are on the hot seat. The president has brought in ICE and Border Patrol and the National Guard for a reason. You guys cannot get your cities under control. Kind of like Portland and the Summer of Love. Remember that? The George Floyd riots. Well, Antifa is back and they're fighting ICE agents and Border Patrol and all of this. I cannot believe that you guys would encourage your local law enforcement to not cooperate with the feds to get these protests under control. I was listening to the governor of Oregon, and she was saying how these protests people were protesting peacefully and legally and all of this. And then you see the videos and it's absolute war, out there. It's absolutely insane to me. So, and Kash Patel, he said today, in Chicago, there's 110,000 gang members. In Chicago, 1,200 shootings just this year and 360 homicides just this year. Way to go, Mayor. You're as bad as Lori Lightfoot, the one before you. So get yourselves under control. Work with the feds, and they're going to restore peace, and they're going to restore law and order, just like they did in LA, just like they did in Washington, D.C. And the rest of the Democrat cities, it's going to come to you guys too, because you can't seem to get crime under control.
I'm so glad we don't need that here, huh?
Yeah, we got Kevin. Kevin's keeping everything under control.
You mean McMahon?
Yes.
Thank you,
Good
Kevin.
job, Kevin.
I'm the audio guy.
and thanks to Governor Lombardo, we are not a sanctuary city. So great.
Judge Almase.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We should play that Welcome Back Carter song. Remember that Welcome Back?
I do. I'm old enough to remember that.
Amen to Carter.
I think it was that one. That's the one I remember. Yeah.
Is that your favorite?
I remember that it was on with Barney Miller.
Oh.
It was Barney Miller and Welcome Back Cotter, because there were only 3 stations at the time.
And Beretta came on right after that. The guy with the little bird or something talking.
Yeah, didn't he end up in prison?
Maybe he played a cop.
I think he did.
He did?
I think he did. He murdered his wife.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
That's why we did family court.
I think that's what happened. Yeah. I'm not sure. I could be getting mixed up with Phil Spector.
So, Judge Almase, could you give us a bio? And please don't leave anything out. I got everything right.
Okay,
Yeah.
You're going to fact check me.
I'll fact check you.
Perfect. All right. I've been in Las Vegas since 1978.
Okay.
Moved out here. My mom and her sister moved out. So I went to school at Woodbury and Joe Mackey 6th grade center. I went to go live with my dad for a little bit in Washington. I actually lived in Portland in the 80s.
So you're from a divorced family?
Correct. And came back to Nevada in 86, 87.
Mm-hmm.
And I had dropped out of high school. I got my GED.
Wow. What did you do that for?
I was 17, typical
Keep me
17-year-old.
away from my daughter.
Yeah. I think it's a good story. Got my GED, came back to Vegas, worked, started at the school district as a custodian, and went to college.
I heard about that yesterday about you. I didn't even know that. Somebody told me, call me up.
Started as a custodian with the Clark County School District.
Wow.
And I worked full time and went to school during the day. And I'm a UNLV girl. So I got my BA in psychology and then a master's in clinical psych.
Look at you.
And then I was a state police officer for about 2 years.
Well, you swinging a weapon too and everything.
And then they opened the
all
law
full
school.
of surprises.
She mops, she shoots,
That's right.
and she bangs the gavel.
Typical blue collar kid. Yeah, a lot of jobs.
That's right.
Yeah. And then I went to law school when they opened law school. So yeah, that's the short version.
Boy, you did it all, huh?
A little bit of everything.
All right. So you're not doing any more cleaning anymore?
Just at home.
Okay.
Just
because I got some cleaning to do.
No, sorry, you're on your own.
So she must have a CCW then.
No, actually I don't. But judges,
We ask all of our female judges if you have a CCW.
no, by statute you can carry door
right.
to door.
Yeah.
So technically you don't need to have one. But I mean, if I were going to, I would.
Well, how tall are you?
6 feet.
You see nobody don't mess with her.
No, they're not.
No, they look at her, they be like, better now. That looks like a rough one.
No. Let's see the red
Too
hair.
old,
Like,
I'm
nah.
too old
The red
to look
hair,
rough.
the height.
Yeah.
She probably got some nice calves, like kick a brother.
I haven't kicked any brothers.
You haven't?
I don't have any brothers.
So let's talk about your judicial bio.
Okay. So I ran in 2010 for Las Vegas Municipal Court, Department 3. It was a hotly contested race. There were about
I remember that race.
6 or 7 people in it by the
Highly
time.
contested.
Had the privilege to serve Las Vegas Municipal Court. Didn't make my re-election, but ran for family court.
That was highly contested too.
It was. It truly was.
I'm having fun on this show.
Yeah. And then I ran for family court,
Okay.
where I've been since 2020.
Didn't you clerk before you ran for family court?
So when I was in law school, I was a summer law clerk intern for Judge Steele.
Oh, you clerked for Steele?
I sure did.
Oh.
I sure did. Diane Steele.
We
What
like
about
Judge
Brown?
Brown, I came back between the 2 judicial seats and was very fortunate to sit with Judge
What's
Brown.
she doing now?
She's retired. She's happily
she's
retired.
Not a senior judge. I looked her up.
She has been. I don't know if I think you have to every year renew, and I don't know that she's renewed.
Okay.
But she has been doing settlement with Judge Elliott and also Judge Steele.
So why do you want to become judge? I mean, let me ask you this question. From mopping floors, did you think that you were going to beat a gavel?
No, my fantasy job was the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
FBI.
Yeah, I was the only individual at the time nominated by the state to be honors intern.
Okay.
So I didn't make it the first time, but the second time I got it, 93, I want to say, and I went to Quantico and I worked for the Behavioral Science Services Unit
Oh, wow.
for a summer, and that was my dream job.
Did you apply for the FBI?
I did. I didn't make it through.
What did they say? Too tall?
They didn't say anything. They just say no thank you.
Too red? What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I was very mature at the time. I was 25.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I applied with the state of Nevada here for parole and probation, and that's how I became a police officer.
Okay. So, do you like being a cop?
I enjoyed it at the time.
Did you violate anybody's constitutional rights?
No.
Did you pistol whip anybody?
No.
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 What kind of weapon did you carry?
We were the first class for the Division of Parole and Probation that was issued a weapon. So before that, you had to purchase your own, so you could carry whatever you wanted. So we had Smith & Wesson 40 calibers.
Didn't you find that odd, though? You used to pack a weapon and you don't have one now?
Well, I didn't say I didn't have one. I'm
she
just
didn't-
not.
she didn't say
I'm
that.
not carrying it.
That's exactly what she said.
I'm not carrying. I'm not carrying a
Well,
weapon. No.
You should carry one.
Yeah, you can by statute.
You should. I'm saying you should.
I think some do. I do not.
Are you going to do it?
I don't know.
Oh.
Did you
I
say
think every judge should,
Okay.
especially after the guy hops over,
Mhm.
well, there
Mary
was a-
Kay's bench, and
Oh, yeah,
remember that? That was
I do.
That
incredible.
took talent.
That's on my floor.
Yeah.
I don't think people appreciate how the distance between the council tables
Mhm.
and the bench and how high the bench is. So if I'm standing in front of my bench, this much of my face is over the top. It's a very large.
Some of those are a little lower, though,
Depends on
aren't
the
they?
courtroom, yeah.
I think hers is one of those lower, but still, I mean,
Just
it
the
was like
distance.
a gazelle. I mean, he just like
Yeah.
Did you lose your marshal? Your marshal automatically heard it on the radio and left you and ran over
No,
there?
we were actually in session. We didn't hear anything.
Oh,
And let's see, I'm the second courtroom and she's like 2 more down. So she's right down the hall from me.
so what motivated you to be judge,
Mm.
especially in the family division?
So I started in law enforcement and I was over at the Attorney General's office
Okay.
as an investigator. I went from parole and probation over there.
Okay.
And Ann Zimmerman was a deputy attorney general at the time. And she encouraged me. She's like, you should go to law school.
Oh, she's the one that told you to go to law school.
Yeah. And I left as an investigator and eventually came back to the Attorney General's office as a deputy attorney general.
Okay.
It was one of my favorite jobs.
Oh.
It was really fun. Yeah.
What'd you like about it?
I did habeas work. So I was kind of a baby lawyer.
Okay.
And I got to go up to the Ninth Circuit and argue a couple times, which is really, for me, it was a real feather in my cap as a baby lawyer to be able to go up there.
Right. So how long you been practicing law now?
I was barred in 2001. So this October will be 24 years.
You want to run for Supreme Court, Justice?
No.
You don't want to run for that seat?
The United States Supreme Court?
No.
The
state.
Nevada?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm happy right now in
Yeah.
family court. Yeah.
Why'd you want to leave?
Family court?
Yeah.
Why would I want to leave?
Yeah.
I don't want to leave.
Didn't you make an announcement?
I did.
When
I was
did you
going to
do that?
retire.
You broke my heart.
I had
'Cause
all
we
my
didn't-
time.
We didn't chat about it before. I
Yeah,
got the
and then
news.
somebody
yeah.
grabbed
Remember that day in the court?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
was very offended.
Yeah, and then somebody grabbed me by the collar. Like, what are you thinking? Because I had my 30,
Right.
and I was going to go get a job, and they're like, "You have a job."
Yeah.
And I was like, "It was the right person at the right time," and I was like, "I think I will. I think I'll go again."
You're not going to do that again, right?
No.
Scare a person.
No,
All right.
no, because I had to call Tom
Uh-huh.
and be like, "Tom."
And what did he say?
He's like, "Absolutely."
Huh.
He's wonderful. I love Tom.
Absolutely the what?
Yes, because
Just
I
leave?
had said I'm going to go, and he's like, "All right, see ya." And then I called him back, and I'm like,
He's
"You know
like,
what?
I'm busy. I got to go.
He is busy."
Yeah.
And I changed his mind, and he was lovely. He's always been lovely.
Okay.
The whole Letitia family's been great.
All right.
Yeah.
Very kind
Ms.
people.
Phillips?
Very.
Ms. Phillips?
I I was going to ask you that question because I was curious myself, but I ask every family court judge that comes in here the same question because we always have litigants come and tell us it's been years since child support has ever been paid, and judges don't hold people accountable. They don't hold them accountable to the orders that they give. Pay your child support, and then they tell them, "Oh, go file with the DA's office." Nothing happens with that department at the DA's office. I don't know who runs that office or who does what over there, but it is ineffective according to the people that, talk to us. So what do you do and do you allow people to go years without paying child support before you lower the boom? And how do you keep people in following your orders that you give?
So it's 2 things. One, I don't know what the perception is on the street, but our district attorney's family support division is probably one of the top. I don't want to use the wrong word, but they assist people in the collection of child support who reside here. So if you're from out of state and you have a child support order, you can come and they will assist. The difference between them and me, it's like, I tell people it's like a road, and there's 2 cars going down the road at the same time. Now, technically, the district court judges have the ability to issue orders, and the child support hearing masters, or they're called judicial officers now, will enforce our orders. So there can be a point where the cars cross over. The The district attorney family support division has access to tools that I don't have personally. I can't investigate, I can enforce. So they can do income verification, they can do garnishment, and then our child support hearing masters also have the ability to do contempt and bench warrants. So they do more of that than I do. What I tell people that are in front of me for child support is that child support is due on the first of the month, and then it accrues, so it's owed. And by statute, we're not permitted to reach backward and adjust child support, so that amount keeps stacking up the longer that you don't pay it. And what I've encountered with people who owe child support is long after the children have emancipated, that money is still being collected. So your income tax returns can be seized. I had a gentleman who had gotten a settlement that was seized, and it was a very large settlement. So that's the risk. In my opinion, on the bench, the child support, they don't go away until they're paid.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different ways to collect. I think our district attorney's office has been pretty efficient by virtue of the fact they have tools I don't. So I think
it's interesting that that you say that about the DA's office, because there are many litigants out there that have gone multiple times to them,
and they feel let down.
Nothing has happened, and they're still not getting child support. So it's like a huge issue, and it always irritates me when I hear, oh, this judge is letting this person, they haven't paid in years and they have so much accrued, and it seems to happen over and over again. And I know you only have so much power, but it seems like these people, some of them, especially the ones that can pay, they need to go sit and think about it in jail for a while so they can get it together and pay their child support.
One of the things I've noticed with the cases that are attached to my domestic cases is our child support hearing masters, which are Hearing Master Norheim and Davis. I'll go in the morning and they're already rolling and the orders are coming through, and I'm seeing a lot more of bench warrants. So the bench warrant will issue, and there's a purge clause, which is required in civil. So if you go in, the hearing master will say, well, you have to pay X number of dollars to be released. And it's usually not like an incredible sum of money, but it's something to get some money to the parent that has the child and needs the support, which is both mom and dad's. Mm-hmm. Right?
Could you explain emancipation so people could understand what you mean?
It meant when you petition for it and you're not yet of age, that type of emancipation.
That's right.
So minors are under 18 years and younger. So if you're a minor and you want to be able, you can't sign contracts, you can't have bank accounts. If you would like to do that, you can petition the court to emancipate so that I can sign a lease, I can get a bank account, I can. I don't know about that part, but what it might affect is whether or not child support is still owed. If you have emancipated and you have the right to do adult things. What I don't think it would change is if you wanted to go into the military, for example. I think you have to be 18 years of age. I think the days 17. Of mom and dad signing for you.
It's still 17.
17?
Yeah.
I know my grandparents, like 16, for World War II. That kind of thing.
A lot of people were going in before. So you launched a mental health program, right? You want to explain how that works?
Sure. When I was in the city of Las Vegas, we were seeing a lot of folks coming into custody who clearly had mental health issues. Now, the medical care at the jails is a contract. So they have to bid that contract, but they would provide mental health medication. So what we were trying to do is stop the revolving door. So we got some stakeholders involved, and the city of Las Vegas City Council supported us. And we were able to create a calendar and have a clinical case manager we were able to hire. And one of the great things that the jail did through their vendor was if we brought people in, they would agree to get them medication so that they could stabilize. And then we worked with stakeholders to find placement for housing. Oftentimes what we had was adults who were trying to deal with children who had mental health difficulties or trying to keep them at home. So that was one of the things I was most pleased with. We were able to do and provide services because there wasn't a lot out there.
Right.
There still isn't a lot out there.
There's no specialty court in family court, is there?
We do have some specialty that what you usually see them. For example, Judge Bailey has the day court, which is autism and fetal alcohol now. She's doing
That's
it,
brand new.
and she's doing that on her own time. So she doesn't get a caseload break for that. She's very passionate about it, and it's the first of its kind, I believe, in the entire country.
Okay. Are you involved in any specialty courts?
I'm not. I have a strictly domestic calendar, so divorce, custody, adoptions, grandparent visitation or third-party visitation, that type of thing.
Okay. What do you could you explain? Because I've seen you in action on this one, but could you explain vexatious litigant?
Sure. I can explain it a little bit.
We can explain.
Sure. So if you're repeatedly filing cases, sovereign citizens are an example where they will kill you with paper. They'll put a lien on your house. They'll file all kinds of stuff against you, and they have a certain belief system. It's filing cases or pleadings over and over again that have no legal merit, and they're strictly for the purpose of harassing or being vexatious. So in Nevada, we have a case. I believe it's Johnson v. DMV. You have to notice people. Hey, as a court or a party can do it. I want you to be found vexatious, and the court has to go through about a 4-factor test. Okay. And you have to list out all of the pleadings that you believe are vexatious that have no legal merit. And you have to make a finding to each pleading. And you have to let the individual that you're going to deem vexatious respond, so that they have an opportunity. If you are found to be vexatious, you're put into the state of Nevada database, and anybody can look that up. It's not a very big database, but it lists each case where the individual was found.
So how many litigants have you found vexatious?
I've had, I believe 2.
How about attorneys? Have you found any attorneys vexatious?
No, that's if you had an attorney,
maybe one in another state.
Yeah, if you had another, usually that's attorney's fees or sanctions, and that's the other party requesting. Like, this was not meritorious litigation. I want sanctions and or attorney fees. This is the most common thing.
What's the threshold? How many lawsuits do they have to reach that before they can be declared vexatious?
If you go through the database for the state of Nevada, if you look through that, because it's got the name of the individual, and then it's like a spreadsheet. On the side, they'll list the number of cases. Now, some people just have one case where they were deemed vexatious, and it was sufficient. Whatever they filed in that case was sufficient to get them into the database. Other people will have a list of cases where they filed in multiple places. So it can really vary. You can be vexatious in a single case, or you can be vexatious against a whole broad range of cases.
Would you say a case with over 300 filings in it over a 1.5 year period of time?
A single case?
Yeah, single case.
That would be well outside any norm I'm familiar with.
Okay.
I mean,
that one would fall under that category.
Well, the only thing I can think of, Nevada has the privilege, I guess, of being one of the states where there's been mass casualty situations or mass. So the Pepcon explosion is an example. The Bally's fire is another example where the litigation in Nevada changed how safety standards are across the country. The Bally's fire in particular in 1980 or 81. That might be a case where, because of the number of people, you might see that level of pleadings. But in my experience, that would be super unusual.
Yeah, I thought so too. But the judge in that case didn't declare that litigant vexatious. And the other side tried to do that and filed, but that judge said no, which I was shocked when I saw the number of filings. It was incredible.
Well, I think there's a resistance to doing it because people are supposed to have access to the courts as an access to justice issue, right? So in family court in particular, 65% of our litigants, at least in my department, are pro se. So one of the things that they've done a really great job of through legal aid is creating the self-help center to make it simpler for people to get into the court. And where child custody is involved, you always are supposed to decide stuff on the merits. So as somebody sitting in family court, I would be very careful with that because you could find yourself as a court improperly denying someone access to the court. And you can't do it. It needs to be a situation where you can clearly point to the stuff and they get an opportunity to respond before you make that finding.
So a family court can be emotionally charged. And how do you maintain composure and impartiality where both sides are highly emotionally or combative?
So I believe that no, I would kill myself if I tried to jump over something. I believe that the courtroom should be respectful and people should be heard and attorneys and litigants should be able to make the record that they want to make. I feel strongly about that. I will caution, we have rules now on civility. I always tell people it's my job to listen without passion and with patience and to decide without prejudice. That's my job. So if I can't be patient and calm, then I'm setting a bad tone and other people are not going to be patient or calm. So I'm not a big yeller. I'm not a yeller.
You're not going to
I've raised my voice.
Some judges are.
Yeah, are you going to take somebody's kid home?
No.
You're not gonna call him psycho. No.
I would say no. I don't want to be called a name, and I have been.
We just want to make sure
some names.
We just want to make sure it's an isolated thing, not a pattern amongst
Name calling
judges.
Yeah, no, not that I'm familiar with, but I've definitely been called names.
Really?
Oh, for sure. I've got some great stories that
Well,
are not appropriate for online. Oh, yeah.
Contempt? What do you do to them?
So in Muni, pre-COVID, when you had people coming in, obviously if somebody's fighting in the courtroom or they're calling you names, and you can deal with it right then, that's direct contempt. But my position was, and I think the appropriate position is, you always give people an opportunity to apologize. Like if you apologize, you can go home. But I've had a couple of people that didn't want to apologize. They wanted to double, triple down.
Double down.
I had a guy that quadrupled down.
Then you have to do the same.
No, I don't return it.
No,
Nice and calm.
you're nice and calm.
Nice
They
and
just
calm.
get more time in jail. She doubles the time,
Yeah.
doubles the fine.
and what's the maximum could you lock somebody up?
So in Muni, the individual I'm thinking of, it was multiple incidences. So I think I went up to 75. And then I had him brought back a couple of days later because I thought perhaps he had something going on. And I asked him if he wanted to apologize. He had an attorney. He did not want to apologize and he continued. So he ended up serving that time.
Oh, wow. So you're one of 6 family court judges at the RJC, right?
Oh, I don't know how many of us there are at the RJC. We're spread out.
I think it was 6. My last count was about 6 or 7.
Something like that. Yeah.
There's 26 of us total, plus probably about 10 hearing masters.
So you have a jury box, right, in your courtroom?
I do.
Do you utilize it at all?
You can utilize it if you plead it. There's a thing called marital tort. And if you plead it and you request a jury trial, you can get a jury trial.
Has anyone ever did that?
I've had one. But
Must be somebody I told.
I had one request for a jury, and then I've had other cases where they've pled it, but those cases have resolved.
Okay. So I know you don't handle the juvenile part, and you don't. But let me ask you about relocation and termination of parental rights.
Sure.
You don't handle none of that.
I do.
You do handle that.
Yes.
Have you ever terminated anybody's parental rights?
So there's different types of termination of parental rights. There's where you're involved in the abuse neglect system.
Okay.
And in those kind of cases, you're supposed to run a parallel track towards reunification. and termination of parental rights. So it goes at the same time.
Okay.
And there are federal timelines related to how fast those cases are supposed to resolve.
Okay.
That's abuse neglects.
Okay.
I'm in domestic. So obviously in domestic, let's say you and I were married,
okay,
and we had kids,
okay,
and I said, I want to terminate Steve's parental rights. Mm-hmm. You can do that in a domestic.
You piss me off to do that. Just like,
yeah.
I'll be
yeah.
really pissed. Don't do
Most
that.
folks are not very happy with it. But the Nevada Supreme Court has recently come out with cases clarifying that in the domestic setting, not abuse and neglect, the termination of parental rights it's a close kind of scrutiny because we value both mom and dad. So they've been very clear in the last 2 years or so that there are certain types of things that are disfavored.
Okay.
So,
you being a mom and female, obviously, do you tend to find yourself leaning towards moms and being more sympathetic towards the moms or dads, or how does that work in your mind when you're listening to a case?
When I first started as a lawyer, one of my senior attorneys told me if half the people are mad at you half the time, then you're probably doing the right job. So what I find is half the time the dads are upset and half the times the moms are, because you're listening to the facts of the case. So I don't really know that the favors dad favors mom. That's probably a perception for sure. Mm-hmm. But I would find in my personal experience is about half the time one side's happy, half the time the other is. So it's about half and half.
And then how many times do you get appealed or overturned, or how often does that happen?
I'm trying to think. I've been on 5 years. I want to say maybe there's been a total of maybe 10 to 15 appeals.
How many cases?
How many cases do I have? I have 30,000 cases total. And I have about 550 active at any time. So in that, 10 to 15 appeals isn't bad. I've had one reversal and remand to take additional evidence. I've had a writ of mandate where they completely reversed and said start over. So that's 2. And then I had one case that was an appeal that I inherited when I was elected. So one of the interesting things is like if you're a judge and you take over for somebody else, that's now your case. So it's your appeal. And it goes against your name.
Oh,
even if.
Really?
Even if.
That's not fair to you.
What
or
anybody. Yeah, what you'll see on it is they list the people on the bottom and they'll go like this judge. And sometimes they'll put a footnote that says Judge so-and-so heard this case, but this case is now assigned to.
Sounds like the RJ. They did a story on me. They slapped it on the front page of the Sunday paper. Oh. And then I wrote the RJ. I said, this is incorrect. That's incorrect. This is incorrect. This is slander. This.
Right.
And then they reprinted the story and they put it on the back page of the Monday section.
As a retraction?
Yeah, with their corrections. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, way to go. Isn't supposed to have the same amount of weight?
Well, that's like when you're dealing with staff, right? You praise in public but correct in private.
Is that what we do?
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Okay, well, what is your view?
Wait, hold on.
We still. Oh,
no,
did I cut into your time?
Yes, I just had a follow-up question.
Oh, all right.
I'm so sorry. Out of all your cases what is the average number of years that a case is open, would you say?
So family court is unusual in that our caseloads are deceptive. So I call it zombie mode. Like you'll decide something and the case will close. But you can refile to open a case at any time, and this includes child support. Child support never goes away until you pass away or it's paid. So one of the things that the judges on my bench are talking about is we are so over, our volume is just mind-boggling. So when people come to court, they want their cases to be heard, and there's actually a rule that says we're supposed to hear them in a certain amount of time. There's a couple rules. But it's just, I mean, I know there's a lot of different positions and criticisms, but I really feel like there's a lot of my colleagues who we're just like a duck. We're just trying to keep our head above water. And Nevada's a strange state. We have 2 big urban counties, and then we have a lot of rural counties. We've got some poor guy in the middle of the state who's still a circuit rider. So it's like an Oreo, and his jurisdictions are the cookie part, and he has to go back and forth. And I don't know if he ever got a second judge to help him, but he's the only one.
Wow.
Yeah, so you got to take into account your rural folks and also your city folks.
So what is your view on joint custody versus primary custody arrangements, and what do you believe is truly in the best interest of the children?
We start with a statutory preference for joint legal and joint physical. I was just talking to my law clerk today. There are some states that are moving towards not a preference, but you start with a presumption of joint legal and joint physical. And I think one day Nevada's probably going to get there. So that's our preference, not a presumption yet, just a preference. Kids need mom and dad, both parents, however their family's put together. When they're in dispute, there's about 12 best interest factors that you have to go through, and then you got to weigh. And it depends. Every single time, it depends. And then 6 months later, they might file again, and you go through the same thing again.
If you had a couple pieces of advice to give to parents and people that come before you, in order to avoid court altogether, what would you tell people?
Ooh, where to start?
Probably more than a couple pieces, but
yeah. So I think for the vast majority of people, all of us, we watch TV and when we're on social media, we have these perceptions about how it is. I think the number one thing that people run up against when they come into court is it doesn't match anything that they've seen, and they're not accustomed to the amount of time that they're going to have to spend or the amount of expense that is involved. I tell folks it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And when you get your trial date and it's a million miles away and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to manage it, because I'm used to it and the attorneys are used to it. But litigants are not used to the emotional toll and the financial toll that it's going to cost.
And they have to kind of become attorneys because they're writing their own stuff, and they have to figure that out. That's difficult.
Yeah. And the way to get around it is I tell folks, like, you have to be willing. Somebody has to compromise. You have to sit at a table and be able to go back and forth and not be intimidated by the give and take that is part of negotiation. And I guarantee you, and I always tell people when I'm setting them for trial, you're going to be happier with anything that you agree to versus somebody that you met maybe 3 times for a total of 20 minutes, because you're going to walk away and she didn't hear, she doesn't know me, she doesn't understand. And they're right. They're right. But you have to be willing to sit down. And somebody told me this and I love it. You have to love your child or your children more than you hate the other person.
Yeah.
And that
That's
involves
true.
compromise and communication. And what are we going to do that's the best thing for our children? Yeah.
This next question, I have to have a disclaimer before I say it. Because I have no love for the Nevada Judicial Discipline Commission at all. I think they go after the easy, minute BS, and they don't go after the actual crime that a judge has done, like mortgage fraud, bankruptcy fraud.
They're selective.
Locking a guy up in prison for 21 years, knowing that the evidence was there to release him, but leave him rotting in prison. See, those are the things that I think the Nevada Judicial Discipline should go after. But in 2018, you had a public reprimand from the Nevada Judicial Discipline.
I did.
You want to elaborate a little bit about that?
Sure. I was running for re-election, and I had switched campaign management, and I had a female. Just to keep it simple, I had a male, and then I had a female.
I wish we were doing campaign back then.
Yeah. And the female that I had was fantastic. She got us back in the game. She was very modern in her approach. But the way that the canons work for judges is you supervise no matter what. It doesn't matter what happens. A phone call is made, a bad ad goes out. It all falls on the judge, as it should. And in that situation, my campaign management put out an ad, and it appeared to be a celebrity endorsement. So my campaign manager had indicated that she had a relationship with that individual. And when it came out, it's a contract. You're under contract with that person. Gave her 24 hours to demonstrate that she had the permission. About 12 hours later, to her credit, she said, I can't get it. Also to her credit, when it went before the commission, there were no witnesses. The only witness was me. I self-reported, and they used my self-report. So I was the only witness.
I was going to ask you who filed that.
I did.
You filed against yourself.
Well, the way that it works is I self-reported, and then the commissioner for the Judicial Commission signed the complaint. But there were no witnesses. I was the only witness. So this happened on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, my campaign manager said, I'm not going to be able to. She agreed. Yes, I put that ad out. I did it on my own. I called the commission. I believe it was Friday. I had filed the packet. And then I lost the election. And then about 9 months later, they filed the complaint. So I went through the process. Again, I was the only witness. When I went up for re-election in 2020, I was asked about it by the Las Vegas RJ. And I said, the best indication is not repeating it. And I promised that if the taxpayers gave me another opportunity to serve them, that it wouldn't happen. So I got very professional campaign management. In fact, my opponent's campaign management team. And I was represented by them. And I'm very, very diligent about supervising my staff. My campaign team is just A++. So I don't have the same concerns, and I think I'm a little more experienced also.
Did you receive any criticism for all that? Because I know it was.
Oh, sure. I got drugged on social media.
how do you handle that?
I think you have to not read you have to get away from the social media. I don't think it's good, generally speaking, to get too much. There's so much stuff out there. And especially if you decide to step into the political arena, that's part of what you're putting on. So don't read the comments would be my...
Don't read the comments.
Don't read the comments. I will tell you, I think one of my favorite comments on Twitter before I turned off Twitter after everything happened was, "How's your boyfriend, The Rock?"
Oh my gosh.
I was like, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But you self-report. I mean, you basically turned yourself in.
I did.
And who does that?
Well, you're obligated to under the canons.
But how many other people would you say? I would say that most would not do that. So I'm surprised that people gave you such a hard time knowing that you did self-report, and that takes character and integrity to do that. And I don't think everybody would have. In fact, I think the majority would not have.
Well, I think, really the proof is in the pudding after it happens. Like a lot of people were like, well, of course you apologized and of course you self-reported. You didn't have a choice. And that might, okay. But did it happen again? And would it happen again? I'll do my level best for that not to happen. And I can point to changes that I've made and how my campaigns are run and how I run my staff. But yeah, it was hard. I lost everything.
I was still in your corner, girl.
You were? Yeah. You showed up.
That's right.
And a friend of mine in justice court showed up, and I was very grateful to have some people there. It made a big difference.
Yeah, you can't go through these BS alone.
Yeah. Gotta swim.
Yeah.
And now look at you.
And now look at you.
Is there anybody that has announced or said that they're running against you, or it's just you?
It's still early. We're 88 days to filing.
It's a lot of days.
Yeah. And it's the 10 days that you wait.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people surface.
yeah. and you don't know what's going to happen. This will be my 4th campaign. The last 3 have all been contested. I feel very comfortable with the people I have representing me. Okay. A little bit more experience, so I'm ready.
How do you believe the family court system can improve? Oh,
I was just talking to my staff about that today.
I know I was there. I was listening.
You were? You got the mic? Yeah.
Stalking you.
I think.
Oh, did I say that?
I didn't hear it. I think we need to, for our civil domestic folks, we kind of we've made some huge improvements. But if you look, for example, at the state of California, and we get a lot of documents from other states, it's pretty clear that they have worksheets on the bench and the judges go through and they check off. It's an order and you hand it to the litigants and it's 5 to 10 pages and they can just carry that. Now in Nevada, if you have a contested matter, like you can end up with an order that's 40, 50 pages. So I think one of the things we need to do is simplify so that we can get people through the process a little quicker. Judge Gordon, who's new on our bench, he's spearheaded the informal trial program. I've done a couple of those. They are much quicker. But we need to get litigants through so that they can have finality and go. That would be the change.
So how would you handle chain of evidence versus hearsay? For example, I'm before your court and I say, my wife kicked my butt. She beats me up. She scratches me. She takes my phone.
Okay.
She takes my car keys. She blocks my path to leaving the house.
Okay.
She's very hands-on and she just whips me.
Okay.
Or I could say my wife is smoking crack every day. She shouldn't get the kids. But I have no evidence to support anything I say.
That's not uncommon in our cases.
How do you handle that?
So we do keep in mind we do bench trials, not jury trials. So you have to. One of our jobs is to assess credibility, and 65% or so of our litigants are pro se. So it's not uncommon that you end up in a situation where it's litigant versus litigant, and that's all they have is their testimony, and that's our job is to sit there and assess the credibility, and sometimes it depends on what kind of questions they ask each other. If they're going to examine each other or if they're part of this informal thing where we get to ask the questions. So, I'm more experienced I can ask more questions if they're in the informal trial setting. But if they're questioning each other, I have to kind of go with what the questions that they ask in their examinations. And you got to weigh the evidence and make a decision.
Okay, let me just put another one on there. Let's say after I made that statement to you,
okay,
my wife is saying the exact same thing about me.
Which might be true.
I'm using drugs and da 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 da. What do you do? Do you say, okay, you both gonna get a drug test? How do you handle that?
So you got to be careful with drug tests. We're family court. We're not a criminal court. Now we do have the ability.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Now we have the ability to order it, but most of the
this
time,
could have been a test for you, Judge.
I don't know. But we have one vendor. Okay. So I just compare it to municipal court where we had in-court trained court staff in criminal matters that could do the testing right there. In family court, we're civil. So there has to be a basis to order that. And then it has to go to the vendor. That's the chain of custody part. That's supposed to presume that they're going to manage that sample and get us the results. Okay. The most common thing that we have in my department is a stipulation to test, which is they're agreeing to it. And I usually, because I've been in criminal court, I usually go through a canvas with them to make sure that they understand. If you don't show up, I can do a negative inference. There's a rule and a statute about that. Is there anything you want to tell me? Right? I go through all of that stuff. Occasionally, I'll have, I'd say the most common is I have a representative party where they will ask for the other side to be tested. There has to be a basis. It can't just be, you look bleary-eyed to me. I think you need to go do something, right? So I don't do them. I mean, if you, in criminal court, if you said, and I'm just giving you like examples, if it was 50% of the time where a defendant was drug tested in family court, it's a sliver of that. Maybe 2 to 3%. It's just not that common. Now we have people that voluntarily do it because they have an addiction problem and they want to have custody and access to their children. But that's a volunteer. Like I agreed to do this to demonstrate that it's in the children's best interest to spend time with me and they'll be safe.
So what would be the worst case you've heard sitting on the bed? Something that really makes your heart beat. Something that probably messes with your sleep and you're eating dinner and you're thinking about this case. What would be the worst case you've heard since you got on the bench?
I wouldn't say there's a specific case. I would say one of the things that, and I don't want to speak for my colleagues, but I think being a judge in family court, it's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of personal stuff. I tell people, I was a prosecutor and a police officer and I sat in a criminal court. In family court, we see everything: business shenanigans, sexual assault, incest, drug use. We can see anything that you can imagine in family court. And I've seen things that are more emotionally taxing on a regular basis in family court than in my criminal experience. And I think because being a judge is isolating, there's wear and tear on your judges, right? So I think in my personal experience, it's the amount of stuff, and you have to have an outlet for yourself.
How do you decompose?
Well, I don't decompose because then I'd be dead.
Decompress.
If I decompose, something bad has happened.
Decompress.
Okay. I work out. I like to work
another
out.
blunder for you, Emily.
Not for Skippy.
I take a break at lunch. Part of my lunch, I go and I walk. I work out.
Yeah, you bench press? What you do?
I know I don't do the bench press and the squats anymore.
You do yoga?
Yeah.
Oh.
I do yoga. I have started doing the kettlebells thing.
Uh-huh.
Somebody needs to explain to me how you don't bang up your hands and arms with it's called a horn. Because, man, oof. Yeah. So I get the old lady bruises. So that's what I do.
What are you, like 45?
I'm almost 60.
She's 29. What are you talking about? Don't say that. There's no way. No.
It's in your head anyway.
There's no way.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm 28, so.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
We just both had our 29th birthday.
I thought you turned 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
My
you want to be a little, you don't want to be 23. Somewhere between 20 and 33 would be great.
She wants to be 23 with the same
I want my
mentality.
mind now. Yeah. My knowledge now.
Like that's harder. You don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
So, what does justice mean to you on a personal level?
In my courtroom, what it would mean to me is that no matter how things shook out, the attorneys and the litigants felt like maybe I didn't win, but I got to say my piece and I was heard. That's what I want for people. They were respected, they were listened to. Nobody yelled at them, nobody demeaned them or humiliated them. That's what I want.
Ms. Phillips, everything else?
I don't. She needs to make dinner for her son. I told her we wouldn't keep her.
I promised my son I was gonna.
What you gonna make?
I made chili.
You want to do a shout out?
Shout
out.
No, he's bashful.
Oh.
He's.
So, Judge Almase, we thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Mark's going to zoom in on you, and this is your time to say your final whatever closing you want to use for today's show. Vote for me.
Well, I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
2026.
Yeah, in a long format. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm always available. If anybody has any questions on the campaign trail, feel free to come on out and say hello. It's good.
And nothing else?
That's it.
Miss Phillips?
That's it. Are you trying to lead me? Did
No,
I
I'm
forget
just
something?
I'm just trying to make sure that she got it all out.
Okay. We can go decompose now.
We can go decompose.
Yeah. So you decompress.
Skippy and Skippy Jr. would love that.
All right. Well, Judge Almase, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Phillips, thank you. Folks, that's Heidi Almase, Clark County District Court Judge, Family Division, Department X for Xavier, X-ray, or Extra.
I should tell people how to say my name.
Tell them.
Okay, so I'm 6 feet tall, tall like a tree, covered in moss. I'm Almase.
Oh,
Not
That's
Almase, not Alamode. I got Alamode once.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Almase.
Remember that, folks.
Super easy.
We hope that this program has been educated, and remember, 2026, every single district court seat will be up, and we want to help educate you on these judges that are currently sitting. This is Steve Sanson, Stephanie Phillips of Veterans in Politics. Until next time.